If you want to retain your critical thinking skills in the age of AI, you want to still be able to reason through problems on your own, form your own opinions, and actually think. This video is for you. I strongly believe that critical thinking is going to be one of the most rarest, valuable skills in the next 5, 10, 20 years to come. I don't think it's going to be prompt engineering or something engineering or whatever it is the next AI buzzword is. I think the ability to actually reason through a problem, form your own perspective, question what you're being told, and arrive at a conclusion through your own thinking process is going to be extremely rare and valuable in the years to come. And mind you, critical thinking is not about intelligence. I think smart people can have terrible critical thinking too. It's about process. Critical thinking is the ability to encounter information or a problem or a claim or a situation and reason through it yourself before accepting someone else's answer. It's the ability to ask why. How do I know this is true? What am I considering? What am I not considering? Forming a perspective based on your own reasoning and not just adopting whatever it is you receive first as an answer. And AI is quietly eroding that ability because AI is fast and fast answers make slow thinking unnecessary. There's a study from early 2025 where they surveyed and interviewed about 665 people across like different ages and educational levels. And they found a significant negative correlation between AI use and critical thinking activities. The more people leaned on AI tools, the lower they scored on critical thinking assessments. They were doing what researchers would call cognitive offloading. By the way, cognitive offloading is such a very interesting topic to explore if you have time. And of course, because this video is about critical thinking, I don't want to cherry pick the study that I like. The researchers of that 2025 study themselves said this is correlation. It is not causation, right? It's just one study and it is partly based on self-reported data. So this is not gospel. It could be wrong. But there was another meta-analysis that looked at AI in learning and they found something really interesting. AI gives you big gains on the easy stuff, low-level learning, basic recall. It's great for that. But with higher order skills like actual reasoning and judgment, the benefit of AI use shrink. And there are even scenarios where the benefit goes negative. I also found this study that shows that the more you trust AI, the less you check its work. And the less you check its work, the more you trust it. It's kind of like this automation bias loop. You trust it, so you don't verify it. You don't verify it, so you trust it more. And that cycle continues. There's a lot of work being done by researchers, studying how AI affects our critical thinking. And I find most of them really, really interesting. For example, let me give you an example of how things have changed. I'm a software developer. Before AI was everywhere, the usual flow when you encounter, say, a bug is that you read the error message. Of course, you trace the code, you form an hypothesis. Is it an or hey? An hypothesis about what could be wrong, and you test that hypothesis. If the hypothesis is true, you move on and resolve the issue. If it is false, you reiterate until you find the issue. Yeah, it's a very slow process, but it is where all the learning and the thinking happens. You trace the code yourself, you understand the system, you build a mental model of how everything connects. But now you have an error. What do? Cloud code, you get a suggestion. In most cases, suggestion is correct. Cloud code fixes the bug and you move on. The problem gets solved, but your understanding of the problem or the system did not exactly grow. And it's not just about answers to technical problem. I'm just using that as an example. It's about perspective too. AI gives you arguments. It gives you framework for thinking about things. And if you are not careful, you can start adopting those perspectives without actually forming yours. For example, I can ask AI about a topic I'm not sure about, and the response will come back well structured, well seasoned, covering multiple angles. I read it and I'm like, okay, yeah, this makes sense. And I move on. But I did not consider that response from my own perspective. I did not arrive at that conclusion through my own reasoning. I just received an answer that sounded good and I accepted it. Mind you, keep in mind, the answer can be good. That's okay. AI helps you know the answer. You get instant answers in seconds. But understanding something needs you to struggle mentally. You need to struggle to understand things. And that's where AI falls short. To actually understand something, you need to think wrong thoughts about it. You need to correct yourself and maybe recorrect yourself again. And that requires time. Even with writing, if you've written anything, I'm sure you've stared at a blank page before you've thought through, you've done the painful process of trying to write something. Writing is thinking. Writing is thinking. The art of writing forces you to organize your thoughts. You find gaps in your reasoning. You clarify what you actually believe versus what you feel. But if AI does the writing, the thinking part gets skipped too, yeah? So, of course, I'm not yet complaining about the problem. I'm trying to share what I am actively doing about this personally and also share what we all can do about it so we don't all become people who cannot think in the next 5 to 10 years. For me, and this is a list you can add to or remove from, number one is to think first and ask later, always in that order. Before you paste something or outsource anything to AI, try to spend a few minutes reasoning through it yourself. You don't have to come up with something elaborate. Just what do you think the answer is? What do you think is going on? What is your hypothesis? Then use AI to check your thinking. Does that make sense? Because if you ask it first, you get the answer, you read through the answer, and you kind of convince yourself that you've thought about it, but you didn't exactly think about it, you just read about it. And those are different things, yeah? Number two thing I would always advise is let AI argue with itself. Don't just ask it for the answer, ask it for the case against the answer it just gave you. This is very simple. If you ask AI something, it gives you a well written, confident answer. Now, after you get that answer, ask it to argue the opposite. Ask it, what is the strongest case that you are wrong? And this is what you would usually find. The same AI that gave you a curated, well crafted, solid answer supporting one position will give you an equally convincing answer arguing the opposite. It will argue against itself just as convincingly as it argued for itself. And the point of this exercise is that you will see that it can argue both sides equally well. So when you see that, the juju, the spell will break. You stop seeing it as some oracle that gives you the truth. You start seeing it as a very good arguing machine. It knows how to populate points. And now when you get to that point, you yourself have to now decide what is right. Because now you have two well-curated answers that are opposing each other. You now have to think. Yeah. You don't have a choice now. You have to think about which one is right, which means you're thinking again, which is a very good thing. It's a nice exercise to do. Number three for me is write more. And not just writing content or anything, just journaling, just penning things down, pen and paper. I have this notebook that I take with me everywhere. It's literally just pages of me scribbling around, and you're going to see like sticky notes everywhere. You see? Just notes scattered everywhere. It's a very small notebook, but it helps me walk through ideas by writing them down without any tools involved. And this is where I figure out what I actually think. If I want to write something or maybe make a video, for example, I think here first. Yeah. And then I sort the other part out. Like, oh, now I have to draft or think about it or read more about it. But this is like my original thinking apartment. So write more, get a pen and write more. Number four, protect the desirable difficulty. There's this thing in learning science called desirable difficulty. It's the idea that struggle is not a bug in learning. The struggle is the learning. The confusion, is this correct? Is this not correct? That is the moment where your brain is actually building something. And AI is a difficulty removal machine. It is very good at making the struggle disappear. Things become easy. So you have to learn to intentionally pick things that you refuse to offload. For a developer, it could be sitting with code for a few minutes to understand how it works before you accept your AI solution, yeah? For you, it could be schoolwork or reading or whatever it is you're doing. But the point is, protect that struggle. That struggle is the point, yeah? Number five, let yourself be uncomfortable with not knowing. I don't have to know everything. The thing with AI is that it gives you this idea that you can know everything. No, you cannot. You're a human being. You're limited. It's very easy to reach for an answer immediately I encounter something that I don't know or something I don't understand. But the discomfort of not knowing is the thing that makes your brain actually work. So don't remove that discomfort instantly every time. Be comfortable with not knowing something. It's okay. Last but not the least for this list, maybe I'll extend this list later, is read a book. I want to scream this thing through the rooftop or something. Read a book. Go sign up at a library or something. If you cannot afford books, books are ridiculously expensive for some reasons. Sign up at the library, borrow books, thrift books, go book thrifting. Even in Nigeria, I used to thrift books a lot. I had this customer in Surulere. He had a thrift shop for books. You know, buy books, thrift, sign up at the library. Just anyhow you want to do it, read. If it's interesting, read it, pick a book and read. It doesn't even have to be something academic or maybe even related to your work or anything. Just read. And I think these stakes are bigger than just something personal. I know it sounds personal, but I genuinely think that a society where people have outsourced their reasoning is a society that is easy to manipulate. You cannot train yourself to just accept any fluent or eloquent or well cleaned up thing that appears on your screen. If that's what you do, whoever controls that screen is controlling your thinking and it's controlling you, right? Critical thinking has always been the thing that keeps you free. The ability to look at what you're being told and go, is this actually true? I mean, it could be true, but is it actually true? Critical thinking is not a nice to have skill, especially in our world that is so full of automated and effortless and instant answers. Yeah, it is one of the things that now matters the most. And I always feel like this disclaimer is very necessary whenever I make videos like this. This is not an anti AI video. The goal is not to stop people from using it. The goal is to make sure you are still capable of thinking without it. And when you use it, you are using it from a position of strength, not dependency. Yeah. So, yeah. Bye.